and then the lion decided to eat him.
Well, considering Finn went with him, I'm figuring that is not his reaction. Though I also thought the same thing after he came in and picked him up with his mouth. But Finn got on him with the corpse and ran to the forest.
Oh, that just seems weird. And then Greybeard looks over at Coffee and Ardreth. And Ardreth, what are you doing?
I'm putting all my pack back together since we're not getting any more sleep this evening, and just kind of in a disgruntled way.
All right. Are we moving out?
Well, we're missing a Finn and a lion, and until they come back, I'm not sure where we'll go.
No. All right. And GB goes about getting everything ready. For a long time, Ka'Fey stands there and tries to make an assessment and a judgment of the situation. And after a bit of everybody starts moving around, obviously, he, I guess, just starts to pack up also.
And I'll start getting the oxen hooked up to the cart and getting everything ready to go that way too.
You guys actually have horses, though, right, to get ready?
Yeah, I do, but the oxen will have to be hooked up to the wagon.
Yeah, and it's
all
still
that
probably
stuff,
midnight at this point. It was in the
okay.
in the beginnings of, or near the middle of, Ian's watch. But now all of you are up, and you've seen Finn crash into the woods with Nod. Let's jump over that a second while you guys are resaddling horses and hooking up horses to wagons and such. Finn, you're in a clearing, and you have the body of this Uthgardt barbarian that has... Ian, you said when originally you just kind of stuck it in his side, right? It was just a dagger to the side, kind of?
It was a dagger into one of his pre-existing wounds.
Okay, yeah, so...
He had a pre-existing condition is what
Yeah, he
saying.
definitely was fairly wounded from other stuff, but as you move the body, you can see where the blood has gushed out of him, and you have this limp body now in this clearing. And it's like midnight. It's a very overcast night, a little bit of thunder, and the crackling of lightning off to the north, off to the Nether Mountains that are to your north.
Well, gonna lay that body on the ground and arrange it, and then I guess Nod will sit on the other side of the body, but they'll both, lower their head and start praying for guidance on this, not necessarily innocent, but certainly murdered young man. And Nod, of course, is very apologetic too, because he thought it was just going to be an interrogation, and then it suddenly went much darker than he was anticipating.
Okay. And Nod was there, right? I mean, so
that's all the whole thing.
Okay.
In fact, he helped a little bit. He tried to intimidate the guy with her, but
so he's an
when the
accomplice.
knife went in, it was shocking to him.
Both guilty. Guilty. Yeah. Okay. So. You are praying, but I'm going to say you're not receiving any direct guidance at this point. The wind has picked up. The blowing of the wind through the trees is definitely has gotten louder. And you're probably still not too far from where the camp is.
All right.
So we'll break back over. So, yeah, how long would you stay to pray?
I mean, this is clearly something he's upset about. But if Coriolan doesn't, come back right away, he'll probably, pat nod in the head and say something about we can't teach that murder is wrong by murdering somebody, so we will make this right. And he'll gather that body up and ride back to camp.
Okay. So those of you that are camp, you've done packing up camp. You've got everything loaded, and probably about that time you see the white shape of Nod through the trees, probably still deep in it, but heading towards you guys as he winds his way through the dark forest. You definitely notice that the weather had picked up. Wind is blowing through the forests that are on either side of the road, even though there's a mile or two of just plains in this area, but you can see the dark woods next to you also, and you can hear the noise of the wind blowing through it. You see a little bit of crackle of thunder and a little bit of just the flash of lightning, or I guess you would hear the crackle of thunder and the flash of lightning. It's very far off to the north, kind of in the direction you're heading, but quite a ways to your north. And then you see Nod pad back into camp.
Finn will just quietly gather some scrap cloaks or whatever kind of cloth we have in that wagon and start wrapping the body.
GB jumps up on the seat of the wagon like a prow of a ship or a crow's nest and looks at the storm as best he can and declares, It's like the old Storm King's thunder. And
Oh my god.
hey, Jarrel's not here. I have to help out. And then
Sailors are very superstitious too.
If we were on the ocean,
Yeah,
I
an
would
ominous
be making...
deed, and now the night has turned ominous. That would affect Greybeard.
If we were on the ocean, I'd be sacrificing to Umber Lee at this point, the sea goddess. But we are not. So I don't know what to do.
I don't think anyone's going to sleep the rest of the night. Why don't we just pack up and...
Yeah, we already started that.
Everybody is. When you get back, we had already began breaking camp.
Just give me a moment to finish prepping this corpse, and I'll be ready.
And
yeah, so you're able to find there were different cloaks and furs that different Uthgarts had worn, and you guys had kind of gathered a lot of their stuff anyway, so there'd be spare stuff to be able to wrap the body in. You still have the body of Gelron the dwarf also in the wagon. The horses are saddled. I don't know who will be riding them.
I'm riding one.
Okay, so Ardreth is on one horse, and then I don't know who is riding the other.
Coffee.
Jarrel was... Oh, Coffee can do it too.
All right. Yeah,
Jarrel
Coffee.
will ride with you.
Okay.
And Ian, from GB, you're getting no judgment or stares or anything. He's just acting like normal. Like, all right, some guy died. Let's roll.
Well, and Finn doesn't seem to be mad. He just looks like he has a heavy burden on his shoulders now.
Ian is acting exactly the same.
Jarrel is acting exactly the same. How about that? No, actually, Jarrel might be... I kind of wished he was here, because he might have something to say.
Yeah, he is saying nothing because I don't know what he would say.
Coffee's being a little judgmental. Like, he doesn't say anything because these guys are outsiders and their culture is useless.
Like Ian has the resting bitch face, Coffee has the same face he always has on?
Yes.
A judgmental Coffee face? Okay.
Yes.
I just want to make sure which one I'm looking at.
Both.
We just never see it because he has a cowl on.
Yeah, that's true.
Though he has been Finn's companion, so I would imagine he would lean towards Finn's
Perma displeasure.
I think Coffee's a little meaner than Finn.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt that.
Without a doubt.
But I would say of the group, he trusts Finn over all of you, all the rest.
Well, of course. He's a... Wait.
You can say goody two-shoes, because that's what he is.
Okay. Yeah, I think they're both lawful good, so...
Yeah, I would say Jarrel would, at a minimum, give you the shaking of the head towards Ian, even if he doesn't speak. The disapproving shaking of the head from the half Drow elf.
That is literally all he does towards me. So it's like nothing different.
So it fits, really.
And it's just another day.
All right, so the wagon continues. You guys continue northward. It was about a day's travel anyways, but you use the night. You spend most of the day, most of the evening, and then most of the next day, and you reach the Rauven River.
I did grab a couple of the furs from those guys, like cloaks, to kind of turn inside out and use as rain gear as best I can, in case the storm does catch us.
Okay. Now, actually, as you were looking, any of you that would have kind of noticed, it's definitely a storm that's moving to the north of you. It's definitely out in the mountains. It's not moving towards you. It's just, it is to the north of you. So you guys make it near the end of the day to the Rauven River, and you're getting pretty close, and you come upon Everlund. So a few of you have been to Everlund before, and maybe some of you, this is your first time here, but you can see that it's Everlund is kind of situated on the banks of the Rauven River and is one of the North's most active mercantile communities, so you know of it as a pretty big trade hub. Thick stone walls enclose the city, pierced in 5 different places by gates. Kind of like the spokes of a wheel, broad, straight avenues lead from each gate to different areas of the city, including to the center. As you guys come in through the southern gate, let's see, can I show you guys this? Oh, probably if I did it a different way. Let's try it a different way. Let's see if I do this. Can you guys see that? Just briefly?
Nope.
Nope, just the main map still.
Oh, how about this? Show players.
There we go.
Hey.
There we go.
Okay. So you can kind of see it. You guys are coming in from the south road. Just to give you an idea, and then you're moving into the town. Okay. Let me get that off my screen now. All right, you come in through the bridge gate, passing through the walls, and there are guards manning the walls, but they give you a cursory glance, and this is probably like maybe an hour or two before sundown. You guys push to get here, and you're heading into Everlund. So you've made it to the city of Everlund. What would the group like to do? What's like the buildings made out of? Are they mostly stone? Are they wooden? Or yeah, this is a. Oh, let me get back to that. The buildings of Everlund are stately and well maintained, steeply pitched rooftops and tall spires that sport colorful banners. Most of the streets are clean and wide enough to accommodate large caravan vehicles. Of course, you do pass, alleyways and things that are maybe darker and dirtier. You see soldiers of the city's armor make a show of patrolling the walls, which you see. There are many, citizens and visitors all throughout. It's a very bustling place. And there are 2 giant bridges that span the river, and there are parks and trees along its shore. So as you guys kind of move in, you come up to the bridge, and then you're kind of making your decision of are you going to cross the bridge and continue into the northern part of the city, or where are you heading, or what are you doing? At that point, it's clear you need to make a decision of, are you just passing through, or are you stopping to do something, or what?
So the horses that we got in that one town, how good or bad are they?
How good is your animal handling? Are you
+5.
in it?
I am, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, you would say that the horses you picked up were plow horses. So they are suitable for riding, but not, and pulling plows, but they are not of any greater value than that. They're not racehorses. They're not of, some...
I'll let the party know that if they're up for it, I'd like to see if I could find a better mount and get some repair done to my armor. So can we spend the night in the town?
Yeah, I see no
I
issue.
would like
Maybe
to stay.
we could probably find another cleric to do another gentle repose. Is that what it is? To make sure that our body isn't
Yeah.
decaying anymore? Because I think that expiration date is coming up.
Yeah, there are several temples in Everlund that you could choose from. Any of them would be able to cast that.
I had a vision of an expired milk container there. Sorry about that.
Sometimes
This is the don't drink past date.
yeah, the giggle effect does indeed in D&D is hard to quell.
Has anybody in the party been to Everlund before?
Yeah, I would say several of you. I mean, I'm sure you have passed through. Finn has probably passed through before. I think we said Ardreth has passed through this town before.
So would we have an idea of where the inns are?
Sure. Yeah, there's inns all over.
Let's find someplace nice.
Yeah, I would agree. We have the money now. It's only for a night anyways.
Okay.
You want me to reach out and find someone on the street and be like, hey, what's a nice place around here?
Well, we've all passed through here before and probably stayed there, so let's just go to someplace that we've been.
Okay.
I mean, Finn had access to a lot more money, I'm sure, when he came through the first time, so places he's familiar with are probably high end, but
Yeah,
Not
one of
now.
the places that you would know of for sure is one of the oldest and largest being the Daniver's house. Used to be a noble's mansion that got turned into an inn. And it's a pretty common place for adventurers to stay.
And a significant name for whoever in our party was the Harper.
yep.
Might even be somewhere you're supposed to go.
Let's go there then. But I'm going to look for a horse once I get my stuff settled in at the
Yeah,
end.
and as far as different temples, the ones that are most prominent are dedicated to Helm, Maliki, Corellin, Larathin are the four? Are the four more prominent temples that are here.
Are any of those dwarvy? I know Maliki is the naturey one. But aren't any of them?
No, I don't. Although I mean, there
Dwarven?
are probably people that worship Helm, I would guess, but I think the dwarves have different set of gods. If I were to look that up.
Gold. They worship gold. Greedy.
Gold is
You're
gold.
thinking of Lord of the Rings now.
I base all my D&D play off of Lord of the Rings.
Let's see. I will bring up this.
To Daniver's house.
Huzzah. Let's do it.
All right, yeah. So you come up to Daniver's house, which is, I bet it's marked on the map. Better be marked on the map, right? Yes. You do have to cross the bridge, and you're going to go through the Bell Market, which is the giant open market area of the town, and you cross over the river, which it seems to be a pretty bustling river. Everything seems to be winding down for the evening, and as you get up to the market, you head to the west down one of the main thoroughfares. You go down a couple roads and you hook a left again a little bit south back towards the river, and you find Daniver's house, which is a nice big, and it looks like it's an old noble's mansion that's been converted into an inn. And there's lights and there's ruckus, laughter already starting. You can smell the cooking of food and fresh baked bread. You see adventurers stumbling in and stumbling out, or those that are going in, brushing the dust off them. Some stumbling out already drunk even before the evening has started. as you make it to Daniver's house.
So, if I may suggest, I will pull out my Harper's badge and say, "Allow me to go speak with Droll Thalabin. I will also make inquiries about horses. If she can be of assistance, Droll, is that a male name or a female name?"
Droll is a male name.
Okay. I didn't want to assume. So I will speak to Droll also about horses, as well as informing him about the attack on Tribor.
Okay. Is this an inn and tavern combo?
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
Let me get the right screen up here real quick.
Though I could suggest if Ardreth wants to go sell horses, or sell those plow horses, we can see what money we can get from them, but otherwise we could be singing in the tavern tonight, making a little extra coin.
Yeah, you will
We
be
can
able to
keep
purchase
the
horses
horses.
here fairly
I'll buy
easily.
new ones, yeah.
Yeah, it won't be hard to find horses here.
Well, we don't want those draft horses anymore, do we, though?
I didn't know if some of the other party wanted them or if we wanted them for backups. We seem to lose them in the past. They run away in the middle of the night.
Put more than one horse on the cart, maybe.
We got 2 oxen for the cart.
Do you
We
want
could
to
sell
get
the oxen.
though? Yeah, we could sell the oxen. I'm sure they'll sell nicely.
Can't be doing nothing but slowing us down on the road.
Whatever. Just let us know. By the way, it's Dumathoin is the dwarven god of the dead.
Dumathoin?
Dumathoin, yeah.
Yeah, I was just
That's
looking
grim sounding.
That's a inspiring name.
Dwarves are so dour all the time. So that's the plan?
Yep. Go in, talk to Droll, try and get us some good deals, and party.
I don't think anybody else has a Harper badge in the party, do they? Just out of character.
No.
So
He's got a
I will I will be the one that goes and talk to him.
Do I need to go get one? No.
Punch
Yeah, your
somebody.
faction would just go steal one, so yeah.
Exactly. Sorry. Sorry.
All right, yeah, you were told to speak with Drow, and he is the innkeeper. So as you walk in, you see a pretty big half orc behind the bar, has an eye patch over one eye, and is clearly the owner and proprietor of Daniver's house. And when you walk over, you kind of flash the badge that you were given by Darathra. She gave you a badge to give to him. And he kind of looks at you and he says, "Well, it looks like you've traveled for many days. Looks like you could use a drink." And then he says to you, "Call your companions over." And he's reaching behind the bar and he's grabbing out this big kind of crystal he puts down several goblets, and then he pulls out this crystal decanter and begins to pour a drink for you and all your companions as he's waves you over.
Yoo-hoo.
Is Nod guarding the cart currently?
Yeah, and the 2 corpses. That'd be a good, safe assumption.
Right. Then
Wait,
I
we brought
guess-
the other corpse with us?
Oh yeah, Finn doesn't let that out of his sight.
Oh.
That's why he spent so much time wrapping it up for travel.
Don't worry, Ardreth. I also thought it was very, very weird.
I was kind of disturbed with that part. I was okay. I was kind of bummed about the killing part, but dragging a body with us, not liking him that much.
Coffee picks up the goblet and examines it and maybe gives it a not a actual sniff, but an elven sniff, and make sure it's of good quality before he quaffs it.
Elven sniff.
Yeah, I mean, it smells of high quality wine.
Okay.
And that was Drawl that gave us the wine?
Yeah, he's poured one for every one of you, and they're sitting at the bar.
Do you not want to hear of the news I bring?
He pushes the goblet in front of you.
I think maybe he wants to hear it after you have a drink.
Okay. I'll take a sip.
All right.
Not being a big drinker.
Yeah, and you guys notice immediately that Finn has disappeared.
What?
What?
Oh boy. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I don't drink any then. It sounds like he slipped him a Mickey and he's going to take him in the back or something like that, and I don't want a part of that.
Yeah, he continues to scan the room, and then he looks at you, and he just gives you this nod, and then kind of pushes the goblet towards you.
It's a date rape drug.
Do I get a save?
No, you
Save
don't.
versus molestation?
You're in the back now, dude.
GB like slams the mug or the goblet on the counter and looks and goes, "This must be good stuff."
They're selling you into prostitution now, my friend.
Wake up the gimp.
I think Finn disappeared, and then I'll take Ardreth since he's not. Or I'll reach for Ardreth if he's not drinking it.
Oh my god.
I'm going to go to the local newspaper and take out a
so
milk carton egg with it.
Greybeard's going to drink it?
Well, if Ardreth's not taking it after the guy slides it forward, and if the guy doesn't pull it back, heck yeah. I'll
So you drink it,
too.
and then you guys notice Greybeard disappears.
Oh, gee, is that cause and effect?
I kick in the direction of Greybeard to see if he's actually there and just invisible for once in
Nope.
his life.
Nope, there you don't feel anything.
Oh.
And you notice that the Droll himself is just kind of watching the room, and he's kind of watching to see who's paying attention. And when it seems like the crowd is laughing and everybody's looking one way or something crashes, he pushes the goblet towards you once again.
Towards both of us?
Towards all of you. There's one in front of every one of you.
Oh, what the hell? I'll grab one and drink. When
Our
in doubt,
coffee had
when
already
all your
drank
friends are
his.
jumping off the bridge, jump off with them.
Ardreth disappears.
Yeah, Coffee already drank his.
Coffee disappears.
All right.
Jarrel takes a drink. He loves a good mystery.
Jarrel disappears.
Go on, Ian. All your friends are doing it. All your friends are doing it, Ian. Go for it, Ian.
We're all being sold into slavery. Come on, you can do it too.
I take I have one hand on my dagger and I take like a small sip.
Your leg
And
disappears.
then you also disappear. And you all appear in another room. And what we'll do is we'll go ahead and take our first 5-minute break. And then when we come back, we will find out what has happened to our party, who has just taken a drink of some suspicious wine at the Daniver house in Everlund.
I'll have my clothes on. That's all I need to know.
Yes, you do still have your. You were the first one to arrive, and you were in a room. And within a few seconds, each person begins to pop into existence next to you.
Oh
As
shit,
all
we
of
forgot
you
to tell
show up.
Nod where we were going. Oh no.
I'm just freaking out.
Give Nod some
Come back and
wine.
there's going to be nothing but a bloodbath in that tavern.
So we're going to go to break real quick. We'll be back in about 5 minutes. It looks like all the streams are up and running, so stay tuned, and we'll see you in just a few moments.
I'm going to
All right, here we go. Back with our group. So, Finn, as you take this drink, a magical effect, you feel kind of disoriented for just a moment as you blink into existence. And you find yourself in what appears to be a kind of like a parlor with austere furnishings. And you see a few dozen harmless Tressum behaving kind of like house cats. Do you guys know what Tressum is? Maybe I'll show you a picture. Can I show you a picture? Show to players. So these are kind of like the winged cats.
Hmm.
They're a pretty common type pet for wizards and such. They're called Tressums. So you see several of them here. And as your companions begin to blink in existence next to you into this room, this parlor, you see a door open and a wizardly type that you actually know of, Finn, as Crowan Valharo. Crowan Valharo. I'll put it in there for you guys. And you recognize him as one of the archmages that works within the Harper organization here in Everlund, which you would have known. And that immediately kind of triggers that you know you're probably in the Moongleam Tower, which is a pretty big... where is it? Let me give you a description of that just so you have it. One of the actual, probably the most prominent edifice in Everland is the Moongleam Tower, which is a keep of black stone that serves as a Harper stronghold in the north. So this is like a not hidden. This is like in your face Harper tower, and it rises from one of the higher knolls in the city and consists of 4 narrow cylindrical towers joined together, surrounded by a dry moat that could be quickly flooded. And crowning the roof is an open turret where a signaling mirror shaped like a crescent moon stands. So a very prominent feature that you guys would have even seen as you went through the market area and then headed over to Daniver's house inn. But now, Finn, you would know that you're in Moongleam Tower. I don't know if anybody that's not a Harper would not know. You would just assume that you don't know where you are. You're in a room that's not the inn any longer. And you're standing next to Finn as you come in.
When they pop in, I will quickly inform them that we have been transported to a Harper stronghold.
Yeah, and then you see, I got a presenter so you guys can see that Crowan. So you see Crowan enter the room. He is definitely one of the higher ups of this area, and as he walks in, he recognizes you, Finn, immediately, and he says, Finn, I had message that you were coming. Please, take a seat. And there are several chairs and such around, and tell me of your travels here.
Well, my companions and I bring news from Tribor about a giant attack.
We've been gathering many stories of rampaging giants throughout all of Sword Coast at this point. Tribord was attacked. Does it still stand?
It does. We managed to defeat the invading force, and we are currently traveling forth to gain information about a piece of metal one of the giants carried. We're hoping the dwarves to the north can aid us. But perhaps you could, if you were so inclined to look at it.
Yeah, he says, well, let us see what you have brought.
Who's got the bag?
Ardreth.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't have a bag. I gave it to Greybeard.
My God, you didn't put the bag in the bag, did you?
No. I have 2 bags of holding.
And a mushroom cloud happens.
Exactly.
No, I pull it out. I bring the bag out and set it on the table.
Okay. Well, you guys have 3 things, so what's being set out?
What's the smallest of them?
2 of them are identical.
The rods.
And they
I
are
have
smaller
those.
than the other metal artifact.
The piece.
Let's just pull out one of the rods. If that's easy
All right.
to deal with.
Yeah, so he takes a look at that, and you see his eyes begin to glow, and he begins to mutter and uses hand gestures, and he says it's clearly divination, powerful divination magic has been cast upon this. It would seem to me that this is used to find something.
Yeah, the other piece. And I thumb over to Ardreth.
All right, do you show the artifact?
Sure.
Yeah, you pull that out, and again, his eyes are still glowing, and he's still muttering under his breath. And he says, I think I know what this is, but I believe you're right. I believe you should show this to the dwarves of Felbar Citadel, and they will be able to tell you true. I would have them tell you what it is.
Oh my god.
Can't even tell us of your situation.
Greybeard does the exact same thing as Ian goes, oh my god. Greybeard shakes his head.
It's like I'm playing Destiny all over again.
And he looks at you and he says, it would be very unwise to speak of this in public. And it would certainly be unwise for you to leave this anywhere that somebody else might happen upon it. You need to keep this safe.
Well, we got two of these, and I point at the rod, and I say, we've had to kill giants to take these. Should we keep keeping these, or can we get rid of these?
Should we continue our collection?
These or those?
There's a set of 12 that you must collect.
Yeah,
You get a badge at the end.
No.
I'm just using Zentarum speak. One of these, or is it the thing about the other thing?
Now he looks at it and he says, this is tied into the history of the dwarves of Felbar Citadel, and they will be able to tell you exactly what should be done with these objects. It has to do with their history and their heritage.
Every time, always dwarves.
Is there a way we can break the rods so I don't have to carry them all around?
Are they collapsible?
He says, yeah, they're nothing more than any other magic device that could be destroyed. But I caution you that you allow the dwarves to examine them before you do so.
All
We
right.
made it this far, I guess. Or like, what, a third of the way to Citadel of Felbar?
You're almost there.
Well, Archmage, the road has been hard for us. We still fully intend to travel there, but I'd be remiss in forgetting to ask for any kind of aid that you could render to our party, in terms maybe perhaps horses.
He says,
We lost so many on the road.
well, the reason you've actually been summoned here, Finn, is that we would like you to take a greater role in the Harper response to what is going on. And I can tell you that all of the major alliances currently are in response all over Sword Coast to giants that have risen up everywhere, and it is not just the fire giants. To that end, he says, I would have you... Oh, go ahead.
I said even the Centarum.
And he gives you a nod. Even the Zentarum are working with us, as we believe this is a grave circumstance. What we don't know at this point is if it's a rekindling of the war between the giants and the dragons, and this is just the start. We don't know if it's a war between the giants and us, which they call the small folk, or if it's a war of some other type. But something has definitely riled the giants, and they have moved out in force.
What's a war between the giants and then the small folk?
He looks at you and he says, if that is what is about to happen, he says it would not be much of a war. We would not stand against them very well. The last war between them and the dragons nearly sundered these lands.
Hey, Finn, what was the thing that Zafarad Zuvarov, the cloud guy, what did he say? The ordening. Yeah, that thing.
Does he know about the ordning? Does the Archmage, has he heard that news?
He knows of... so Crowin says to you, there are those of us who know of what the ordning is. This is the first that we've heard that anything has happened to the ordning. And he sounds very interested in you telling him that.
Well, you're fucked. Oh, it is broken.
He says, well, I need you to follow me then, and I want to show you what we are prepared to help you with. And then he does say to you also, as you kind of are walking from one room to another room, he says, we realize we're not asking that you end or take this on alone. It's, in fact, there are groups and there are those that are in power. There are armies being mustered. There are alliances being brought up. Everybody is pitching in. Everybody is mobilizing. And the issue is that everybody is doing what they think is right, what they think should be done, and they're reacting to all of the attacks or raids or wanton destruction that is happening. Thus far, nobody knows exactly what needs to be done. We all have agreed that we need more information, and so we're asking that you continue to gather more information as you can, get to the bottom of whatever you may, and continue to provide this information so that we can at least at some point come up with a true plan of action that would end whatever troubles the Sword Coast faces.
Well, other than asking the dwarfs about this mysterious metal, where else would you have us go?
And as you say that, he brings you into another room.
Is it just us and Crowin and a bunch of these flying cats?
The cats stay in the room now. You guys are walking from one room to another, and it's just Crowin, this mage, in these upper levels of this tower, and then it's you, your group, following him.
Okay.
So he brings you to a circular windowless room, and in it, as he goes through the room, or a door to this room, you can see a giant carved circle of runes and symbols of Arcana intricately scribed into the floor of this room. And he says to you, the problem is that this is all on 4 different pages instead of all on one page, which would have made everything easier. We have deemed that you are to be given access to the transportation circles. And he gives you a scroll that when you unwound it, Finn, you see... let me bring this up for you. And let me say show all players. A scroll that marks out basically a network of Harper teleportation magic that allows you to go from one circle to another. And as you can see from the little scroll you're given, they have Harper circles in Waterdeep, Loudwater, Yarder, Everlund, Neverwinter, and Mirabar. Crowin says, as you have shouldered the responsibility, not only, as we have heard, by rendering aid to the town of Nightstone, helping and saving Tribor, and then even continuing to fend off attacks upon the roads as you traveled to Everlund. The Harpers have decided that until further notice, or until we deem you no longer will need it, you are allowed to use any of these teleportation circles. And he gives you he says the badge that you were given by Darathra. You can present this at any one of these towns at these locations, and will be given access to use the teleportation circles to teleport to another area. He says, unfortunately, as you can see, there is not one to Felbar Citadel, so you will still need to travel to the north. But hopefully, with this network, it will aid you in gathering more information and help us find what our next course of action shall be.
Thank you for the gift.
He says you can present this badge. You can use it as you wish. And then he begins to show you out of the tower, Moongleam Tower. And he hands... he hands you a small wooden coffer, Finn, and he says, as everybody's kind of filing out, Finn is at the back. You guys are being led down through, and as you go through the tower, you see lots of guards, Harpers, dressed with Harper badges, openly. You know, this is not like a secret hideout or anything. This is like an actual stronghold of the Harpers. So you see soldiers with the badges. You see many servants moving about. You see dignitaries and other people that are here. And you guys are led back down to the bottom floor where you're led out of the tower. And then just before Finn, you walk out the door, Crowan produces from his robe this wooden... what's he call it? A coffer. Wooden coffer. And he says... Darathra had sent this to me for my birthday a few years back, but I feel this is something that will come in much more need on your travels. And he hands you this wooden coffer.
Well, I won't open it up right there, because
Okay.
that'd be rude. But I will thank him again for the gift, and tell him that I think Corellan's light shines upon him.
Awesome. And then they kind of show you out of the tower. So you guys you're not that far from where the inn is. You're like on another main road that just leads straight back down towards the river. It's not very far at all to walk back down to Daniver's house. And you see, as you know, as the backdrop of this at night, the signal up on top of the tower begins to flash, and it's this crescent silvery moon that's blinking in and out in a code of some sort, flashing throughout the night as it's sending messages of some sort to somewhere. And you guys make your way back down to Daniver's house on the river. And as you come in, you see the half-orc kind of give you a smile and a nod. And as you guys enter the inn, and he says... if you are staying for the evening, your rooms are already set aside.
Thank you, friend.
Oh, I like this treatment. What's in the box, Finn? What's in the box?
Yeah, let's gather up around a table and open it up.
Yeah, so in the box you see that it's divided into 6 compartments, and each one of those contains a rolled up, what appears to be a scroll. Ardreth and Coffee would recognize them immediately as spell scrolls.
He says, might I? And reaches for the first one.
Yeah, they're actually, each one is labeled, so it's not, they're
okay.
But yeah, he would be able to read it, and
I snapped that box closed like Richard Gere and
on his hand. The labels, for those of you that were able to read it before it snapped closed, it seems to be each one of these compartments is labeled, and you see a label for Dispel Magic, Fly, Magic Weapon, Sending, Tongues, and Water Breathing.
Ian, did you just write those down?
Yes.
Awesome. You're amazing. Thank you. Thank you.
I'll post it.
I was going to say, I'd need it like spelled out to me like 4 times. Aha.
Yes, got them all.
And these are the type where, and maybe probably Coffee would explain this, that you would cast it from this scroll, and then once you've cast it, the scroll would it would burn up into ashes. So it's, you use the spell and then it casts from here, and anybody can use these from the scroll, and then they.
I have to
Right, I guess I would
Coffee
say
is
it's
just
possible
stopping.
for anybody to use them. If you're if you don't have these spells, then you have to make an Arcana check to see if it would fire off. Those of you that could learn these types of spells are able to do it without that check.
Can we put them in our spell book?
I don't recall.
Well, this is a wonderful gift, but this will do nothing for our horse issue upon the morrow. So Ardreth will have his work cut out for him, I believe.
Yeah, I'll give you. So the spell scroll bears the word of a single spell written in a mystical cipher. If the spell is on your class's spell list, you can read the scroll and cast its spell without providing any material components. Otherwise, the scroll is unintelligible. Casting the spell by reading the scroll requires the spell's normal casting time. Once the spell is cast, the words on the scroll fade and it crumbles to dust. If the casting is interrupted, the scroll is not lost. If the spell is in your class's list but of a higher level than you can normally cast, you must make an ability check using your spell ability. A wizard spell on a spell... Oh, okay. A wizard spell on a spell scroll can be copied just as spells and spellbooks can be copied. When a spell is copied from a spell scroll, the copier must succeed an intelligence check to do so. So there's a chance that you could fail. If you fail, it destroys the scroll.
So, all right.
So don't try.
Yeah, well, he has. I'm gonna let Coffee deal with that later if we so choose that. Though he does. He would say it might be to our advantage if we were to possibly spend some time and let me put these in my book. Because he's the only arcanist, right? Or the only arcane wizard, right? I mean, Ardreth, you don't have wizard levels or whatever. You don't have a spell book.
Correct.
Okay.
Well, tomorrow we should visit a temple and go on a journey to find these horses, I believe.
I believe Coffee would also bring up... once again, you guys have forgotten that you have not checked any of the weapons from...
That's right. He wanted to do detect magic on everything before we got into Everlund.
But we're going to say, due to circumstances, that never happened. But you still have the stuff. It's just nothing of... You guys haven't done anything with it.
All right.
He's got all night. It's still late, right? So, or it's getting late.
Yeah, he can do it now. I mean, probably easier to see since it glows, right?
Yep.
Well, who has his character sheet? Does he? What spells does he have to cast?
He has... Boom. I love this spell sheet, by the way. It's amazing and awesome. I still want this for my poor other D&D game. Yes. He has tons of spells that would help us out. Nope. It's all sleep and shield and expeditious retreat, and
No
it's always
detect
combat
magic?
loadout. No,
He doesn't have detect magic?
he has it in his book, and if it's a ritual, he could cast it as a ritual. But
Yeah, he could do that then. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's a
Okay.
ritual one.
That's
all right, then that's what he will do.
But more importantly is does he have the identify?
no.
He does
have to
not.
do that.
He never has had it.
No, it's higher level, I think. So he doesn't have access yet.
Okay. Yeah, so
Oh, it can't be.
we'll say
Okay.
he spends 10 minutes in his room going over the equipment and such, or I guess he even does it out at the wagon. I don't know if there's any reason not to do it out there instead of dragging everything into the inn, or is that what you want to do?
If it comes down to it, you know, I could always knock on the door of the Harper stronghold, and we can maybe ask one of them to do it, or pay one of them to do it.
No, we just need an identify if we have anything magical.
It's certainly something you could purchase as a service, for sure.
I don't know. Are you hungry?
I am.
Yeah, I am. I would really love some food.
Yeah, have her
Actually.
cook us something.
Mm-hmm.
Even a
Taking
can
orders.
of beans.
Can of beans. Over the
No,
open fire.
I want digital sloppy
Refried?
joes, man.
Are you sure? They're pretty sloppy.
They'd be all good by
Darn
me.
it. No. How about just a PB&J?
Now you're talking. Classic.
PB and Jarrel? That's gross.
Mm-hmm.
Can you guys hear me talking?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we
What the
can.
hell?
I'm thinking PBJ sounds really good. Can you mail
We
one up
want
this
one
way?
for all of us.
Yeah, I'm going with that one.
PBJ sliced thin.
Does
with
anybody
some
in the
fava
chat
beans.
room want a PB and J also?
Yeah, man.
I'm starving. Sorry.
Okay. So he would be able to easily create the ritual out at the wagon, and what you find
Okay.
is the only thing that bears a magical aura is the longbow.
One underlined longbow magic. All right. Okay.
All right.
We'll inquire about unless Finn believes that the people at the harpers at the tower can help. We will inquire about a magic shop during the evening's festivities.
Yeah, you were probably there's several throughout the town of people that are willing to offer that type of service. It's not even that much. It's like 20 gold to cast and identify. It's not crazy.
So, what he would like to do, coffee that is see if one of those individuals would be willing to, part with a scroll of said knowledge for a sizable fee.
Yeah, we could probably do something like that. Let's see. Although I don't have that on my chart. So we'll make it up as we go, right?
Woo-hoo.
What level is the identify spell? Let's look it up in the compendium.
Good.
3 is what
I
I'm
don't-
guessing.
It shouldn't be. It should be like a first level spell.
Identify?
Yeah.
Oh, it is a level 1. Oh, look at that.
Even a bard could get it. Man, if only you guys had a bard.
I know, I've turned into more of a tank.
Yeah, I was going to say he needs to retcon at the next leveling.
Yeah, I would say let's just. Well, first level spell shouldn't be that hard. So let's say, somebody's willing to let you put it on a scroll for, say, 100 gold.
All right.
I have no idea. I mean, if they do the service for 20, that seems reasonable to me.
All right. Sweet. And then we pay them to do the the identify now, and then he'll monkey with the getting it on his spell list.
Yeah, what's funny too is that they'll cast that, but the ingredients are a pearl worth at least 100 gold pieces and a owl feather. The material ingredients.
Yeah.
To be able to cast that. But okay, so yeah, they create a scroll, a spell scroll.
Okay.
So that means you can cast it from the spell scroll if it's something that's on your list. It wouldn't be higher than him, so he would not have to make a check. He still would need to make a check if he's going to try to transfer it from that scroll to his book, with a possible chance of fail.
All right. Should I go ahead and roll that? Or let him do it when he gets back?
Up to you guys.
What do you guys think?
Just roll it.
Up to the group.
All right. Just roll it. And what is it? Is it an Arcana? Is it...
Let me bring it back up again. So to make that check, you are going to succeed on an Intelligence Arcana check with a DC equal to 10 plus the spell's level. So I think you're going to need to roll higher than 11.
All right. Arcana,
Can I cast Bardic Inspiration on him before he does it?
Yes.
All right, I did.
And I made it.
I figured we put an insurance policy on there just in case.
Yeah, most wise.
Yeah, it looks like it has to be equal to the DC. So the DC for that would have been 11, looks like. All right, so it is copied into his spellbook.
All right. I'll see if
And it is a spell that can be cast as a ritual.
Cool.
But he is going to... I mean, that's a significant material cost, so he's going to need to make sure he keeps some of those on him.
Yep.
We'll have to mention that to him when he's back. Okay.
PP, how do I get the spell in my spell book? Or someone.
With a quill?
No, but I mean in the game onto the spell sheet.
You have to do the drag and drop from the compendium into a created spell slot on the character sheet.
Yeah, if it's a level plus, it'll come up blank, and then you can drag the spell over to it.
Okay, so where do I find the spell, though?
In the compendium.
Do a search for it.
Okay. All right, I'll monkey with that. Continue on.
Yeah, so you guys are leaving the magic shop. He could monkey with that. I mean, he could do that, we'll say, while he's in his room. So are you guys just going to go to sleep and then get up and do other stuff, or what's going on?
I'm going to drink and play music. What else are you supposed to do when you're in a tavern for a while? Because that's always good.
Yeah, so you play music, and maybe you even get a few tips and stuff here, so maybe you make like 20 silver from people that offer you money for playing music and making the night go by melodiously. That's even a word.
Finn will try to sing with you, but he's obviously down about something.
So I'll ask him to stop singing with me because he's interfering with my tips.
Dude, you're down and everything. You're so sad. With single tear.
He'll sing dirges.
Right. Other than that, the night goes by. You guys, anything else? Major.
I'll bring Nod some food.
Sorry. I don't exactly know how this works, so I'm working on it. Okay.
All right, so the evening, everybody can, stay up, eat and drink, partake in as much culture of Everlund as you wish, or as little as you wish for any of those that do not want to. And you pass the evening restfully. You gain it's a long rest, so everybody gains their stuff back, and it's a pretty peaceful rest after a long travel. And we'll pick back up as the sun begins to rise, and each of you begin to wake up at whenever you would normally wake up during the day. You each have a room to yourself, too. So everybody has their own room at Daniver's house.
All right. Just as a side note that anyone would know this, but that always freaks Greybeard out. So.
Sleeping by yourself.
Uh-huh.
You can sleep
Do
in
you,
a bunk.
do you have a little teddy bear?
Nope. But I do wrap my, like, tie the bag of holding, like, around one wrist and tuck it under my pillow. Old sailor ways. Nobody can get your coin purse.
Well, first thing in the morning, Finn will want to go to the temple to get the body gentle repose refreshed.
Okay, and any temple specifically you're choosing?
Oh, if there's a Coriel in town, he'll go to that.
Yeah, there is. So you show up and you speak with the... I guess we'll call him a high priest at this point. I don't know much about the Corellan god, but... and it's a simple task, and for one of the paladins, he's able to just have that cast upon Gelron the dwarf, so the body is now under gentle repose again.
I will grab the body of the barbarian and bring him in as well, and ask if there's anything to be done for him.
He kind of gives you a grave look, and he says, after a pretty long pause, well, as you would know, and you're a young elf, right? A young half-elf?
Very young, yeah.
Yeah. As you may know, young paladin, he says to you, there's always the chance to bring someone back who has passed to the other side. And though the components and the material cost to cast such a ritual isn't too expensive for those of means, it is by no means automatic for it to work. As you know, the spirit must want to return to the vessel that it has left. And many, upon leaving their fleshly vessel and entering the realm of whatever pantheon of God they worship, find they would rather stay there than return. It is something that certainly could be attempted if you were to wish to pay for the materials of this. We could attempt it. But as you know, we could not guarantee the outcome. And we would have to caution you, for those that have lived a life of pure evil, of wanton destruction, sometimes what returns to the vessel is not what you thought or asked for.
This man was murdered under my watch, and I am responsible for it. I'll put my entire pouch on the table. Whatever I have to pay, I will.
Yeah, it looks... what is in your pouch, money-wise?
I got 3 platinum pieces, 125 gold, 6 electrum, 102 silver, and a whopping 1 dose of pixie dust.
Yeah, he looks at all of that, and he says, though this is a good start, the materials that we will need are significantly more expensive than this. You would have to raise more funds than what is placed before me here for us to even buy the materials we would need to cast this ritual.
Well, I am at fault for this death. Corellian refuses to speak to me. I must do what I can to make this wrong right.
Then is there another means that you can raise money?
You see what I own, and I'll gesture to everything on the table.
He says, well, wait and let me see what might be done. Give me a moment and let the alkalites here prepare this body.
Thank you.
And then we can jump over to what is the group doing then? This is in the morning where Finn has taken the two bodies to the Temple of Corellian, but the rest of you are doing...
I'm looking for horses. Did anyone else let me know they wanted a horse before I went to look for a new one for me?
So
I'll take that's a no.
I'm torn. Okay, is he taking those bodies? Am I driving the wagon with him? Then
I can load them both up on Nod.
Yeah, I mean, he can drive the wagon himself. He didn't say...
No, I can. I'll load them both up on Nod.
Oh.
Okay, then
Okay.
Then I will go with you, Ardreth, because we're going to try to sell the oxen and trade up and switch out horses and whatnot.
Yeah, so you're able to find a merchant that deals in livestock and different types of mounts. And early in the morning, so he's a very boisterous person and says, how can I help you today? What is it that my humble shop could provide?
Well, we're looking to sell 2 oxen and purchase a fine horse.
Okay. And he says, well, I have many fine horses. And he kind of starts leading you down to a stables area where you see, several rows of different horses, and you see lots of different styles of horses. Everything from cart and plow horses, riding horses, to he even has a war horse, a big kind of Clydesdale style horse. And he says, I have many fine horses. What type of horse are you looking for?
I'm looking for a good riding horse that could handle some light combat.
Well, it's not so much that your horse can't handle it. It's more that your training does not allow you to fight from a horse, if that's what you're trying to do.
Oh, with that DM? No, that's
Yeah.
no. I was just looking for something that's a little bit sturdier than a light riding horse.
You could go to a war horse. It would still, for you, it'd be like a riding horse. You wouldn't be able to do any of the combat maneuvers from it, but you could go to a war horse, which is significantly more.
Yeah, I don't want to say war horse full. I just want a sturdier riding horse. I guess that's the way I'll put it then.
Okay, yeah. So go ahead and give me a persuasion check. Let's see how well you can haggle, as you guys haggle price. Oh yeah, really well.
Hold, my good friend Ardreth, says Coffee. Perhaps I should purchase one too. And I'm saying that now as Coffee. Can we retcon it if he doesn't want to spend the gold?
Sure.
All right. So perhaps you would be willing to bargain for a second mount for myself.
Yeah, so he shows you several horses that are of good quality, riding horses meant to travel the roads. They will defend themselves where possible, but he kind of cautions you, these are not the types of horses that you would be able to mount armor on. They've not been trained in the joust. They've not been trained in that way, but they are fine breed, fine riding horses that from Tribor, which you actually already know that Tribor is a place of quality horses. And you know that the prices probably typically normally are somewhere around 75 gold, but you've been haggling. You're going to give him the oxen. You're going to buy 2 of them. He's willing to sell you these riding horses, and he has several that you can choose from for 50 gold apiece. That includes handing the oxen in, and then you can purchase whatever riding horses you wish. So you're getting
by all means,
a good discount.
Yep, I will do that.
What are you going to pull the cart with if you trade your oxen in?
We're going to use the other 2 horses that we're trading in, or that we aren't trading in.
Oh, okay.
The ones that had originally been hauling it?
Yeah. Okay. So there's enough horses here if everybody wants a horse for 50 gold. If there's only a couple of you that want horses for 50 gold, that's the price that you've been able to talk him into. It's a pretty good discounted price. So you can take as many horses as you wish to buy at riding horses as you wish to buy at 50 gold apiece.
So who doesn't have a horse? Ian and Jarrel?
Nobody would if you moved the 2 horses to the cart now. Nobody has a riding horse.
Okay. Well, I've got a Greybeard has a cart, and Coffee just bought a horse. So I guess that's Ian and Jarrel. PB, you're up.
I don't know. I mean, can I do the same thing if Jarl doesn't want a horse? Can we just say he didn't buy the horse? No, you know what? No, he wouldn't buy the horse. No, because he's saving his money for stupid health potions. So no, he won't do that.
Okay.
And I don't want a horse.
Okay. So just 3 horses then: Coffee, Ardreth, and wait. Did you want a horse, Greybeard?
No, I got a cart.
Oh, okay. Okay, so 2 horses for 50 gold. You can mark that off of those that are buying it. We assume Finn doesn't need a horse. Oh, wow. Okay.
No, he's okay without a horse.
Okay. Does that complete your transactions for horses and mounts?
For me, it does.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, we will switch our scene back to the church, the temple of Corellin. I think I'm saying that right. And the priest comes back and says, as you are one of our noble paladins, we can pitch in some of the cost of these materials, but I fear we're still going to be short 1,000 gold or so. And he gives you a meaningful look and says, though you've said you've put everything upon the table of value, it appears that you still wear something of great value. Are you sure you wish to continue along this path?
He will nod and turn on his heels and walk out. Said, I'll be back.
Okay. And they continue to prepare the body. They're bathing it, putting it in this ritual area, beginning to gather the materials, and they wait for your return.
I'll go sell my armor.
Nod seems very, I want to say, content and very peaceful in this place. He feels the connection to Corellin here, and this is a place of that he connects with, kind of deep down.
Is there any place in town that I can think of that I can go to?
Oh yeah. There's plenty of places, so you're able to go and quickly haggle and get exactly the price you're looking for, and then you're able to come back and present the money to the priest. We don't have to role play through that.
All right, I'll do that.
All right. They begin the ritual. In this room, you're the only person to witness this. And you see the body of this Uthgardt barbarian upon a ceremonial table, and with many of the accoutrements of the religion that you kind of have devoted yourself to. And they begin calling to the soul of the Uthgardt to come back to this vessel. And as 20 minutes passes, as 30 minutes passes, the lights flicker and power in the room begins to almost become like a static electricity as the hair on the back of your neck even rises. And you can feel a great building of divine power in this room. And as 40 minutes pass, as 50 minutes pass, finally, with like a loud inrushing of air as if he's just burst from the ocean or burst from underwater, he takes in a giant deep breath. His eyes glow with divine light for a moment, and then he slowly lays back on the ceremonial table, and then his head kind of turns to you, Finn, and he looks to you and he says, The light spoke to me, and it said, my journey is not done. And he looks at you and he says, but what is the light? And then he falls unconscious.
Okay. We'll gather him up and ask if the priests can clothe him.
Yeah, they give you some, like, the only thing they really have on hand are, like, alkalite or, student type clothing, but they're able to give you some robes that, like acolytes would wear. And the high priest kind of looks at you and nods and says, as you're walking out, this is a great burden you have taken upon yourself, young paladin. But he says, I believe that even during that ritual, it was through Corellan's will that this was done. So I think it is just, as he leads you out of the temple.
I'll introduce him to Nod.
Yeah, Nod sees him unconscious, but has a real affinity towards him already. There's something about him that's different than before. But he's still sleeping at this point. He's peacefully sleeping.
I'll take him back to Danvers.
Okay. So you show back up probably just as Ardreth and Greybeard are coming back with the horses, and maybe are you guys have your new horses now. The oxen have been traded off, and you are sitting in the yard where the cart is, and you see Finn come back. And I would say, go ahead and give me a perception check from each of you. And then for Ian, Coffee, Jarrel, are you still in the inn, or did you do anything while that was happening in the morning?
Jarrel would like to go out and buy some health potions. That's what he would like to go out and do.
And Coffee would have taken that bow over and had that identify thing happened. So we know exactly what that bow is.
Oh, Coffee did that in the morning, is what you're saying. I assumed
Right.
he had did that that night.
Okay.
Well, he has the scroll. Oh, yeah. And then he's going to do the ritual, is what you're saying.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so he's doing that in the morning. So we have a couple perception checks. And then what were you doing there, Ian, once again?
Jarl went out to buy some health potions. I keep an eye out for the adventurers coming in and out of the Danvers Hall, and I'm looking for the symbol of Fuck if I remember the name of that group. The person who came up to me in Tribor and tried to recruit me. I'm just looking for that little.
The Emerald Enclave?
Was it the Emerald Enclave? That one. And I'm just looking for how many of those I see come and go, if any.
Yeah, in Everlund. What do you mean you're looking for them? How would you recognize them?
I'm looking for the little logo. I'm assuming they have a logo, right?
Yeah, but typically the only badge you're seeing portrayed kind of out in the open is every now and then you catch what you know is to be a Harper badge.
Yeah, I'm just keeping an eye out. That's
Yeah,
just what I'm
okay.
doing.
All right.
Whether it happens or it doesn't.
Yeah, I gotcha. But you do
And Nell's
see
getting
many
health
elves. I mean, you do see elves within this population moving about.
Oh shit, you're right. I do need to leave that letter. Thank you for reminding me, whether that was your intention or not. I go find a courier service to go send some stuff into the high forest.
Yeah, you find a group of wood elves that appear to be leaving out the south gate. And you know, as you speak with them, you realize that they are heading back to the forest. And yeah, they were willing to take your message with you to deliver it.
Sweet. Awesome.
Yeah, and they don't charge you or anything. They take it and they give you the proper wood elf greeting and say that they will. I'm at a loss for words tonight for some reason. I want to say not portray, but another word for carry it to its destination. But we'll go with that. They will take it to its destination.
Awesome. Oh man, the wood elves are the best guys. So nice.
Yeah.
Especially the ones who
As
guard
seen-
prisoners at night.
Yeah. Awesome. And Jarrel goes and gets health potions in the morning.
Okay, that's the last thing I'm looking at. Why don't I have the price? I got everything else.
I seem to recall no, I don't remember.
They're 50.
Is it 50 gold? That's what I keep looking for. I don't know why.
I
keep
feel like
missing
it's 50.
Yeah, they've been 50 in the past, anyway.
Yeah, so, give us a Jarrel persuasion check as he sees how well.
Oh,
he
it's
is
better
a
than
half
mine.
Drow elf.
It's 75 now. It's 75.
Yeah, he rolls horrible. So they will be
But that was
60 gold if you wish to purchase however many you wish.
Oh. Fuck, he'll buy 2.
Okay, you were able to purchase 2 healing potions.
And since I have Ardreth with me, at some point we stop and just refill our hardtack and whatnot that we've used along the road.
Okay. That'll be. I mean, even at the place where you bought the mounts, you'd be able to purchase, another several weeks worth of food for the horses and such for probably a gold.
Ardreth, do we still have party money at all?
I thought we distributed that.
Okay.
Let me check my sheet real quick. I thought the last time around we said split it all up.
So everybody's kind of converging together then as they've gone out and run their various errands or done their various things in the morning, and you're all kind of converge back as Finn comes up, Ian comes back from where she was with the Wood Elves, Ardreth and Greybeard come back with the horses. We see Coffee come out of the inn after he's been casting rituals, and he has the bow in hand, and Jarrel is returning with from the merchant area. Obviously went out and purchased stuff and was coming back. And you all are kind of converging at the same time, so all of you can give me a perception check as you come back as you all come together once again. I already have it for Greybeard and Ardreth, so just the other people.
Oh,
all right, so
get that for him.
Greybeard, you notice that who else has? Oh, is the 8? Who's the 8 for? Is that for Coffee?
It must be, though. That's really weird. So,
it's just because you rolled it. So you and Coffee with the low
got it,
scores.
got it.
The thing that you notice as Finn comes back in is that the Uthgardt Barbarian is now alive, breathing, but sleeping in the arms of Finn as he rides back on Nod. The rest of you with much higher scores in perception, not only do you notice that same fact, but you now recognize Finn is no longer wearing plate mail armor.
Did we really need to roll that high to see he's not wearing armor anymore?
Yeah, it would be something that wouldn't stand out. You don't need to roll that high. You just happen to.
Did you give up your helmet also, Finn?
Yeah, I'm sure it's a full set. Not my shield, though, because that's my holy symbol.
And you all come back after your morning shopping, and it is a bright... it's an overcast day still. There still seems like there are storms to the north, but it is early in the morning, and your group has come back together. Coffee... you guys notice that Coffee has the bow in hand, and he gives you the nod of he was able to... Kind of like a nod of, I know what this is, and is waiting for the proper moment.
Excellent.
Well, if it's early, I'm going to walk into the Danvers house and just lay the Barbarian down on a bench. Sit down and order some breakfast. Maybe
Okay, yeah, you can use the menu from the other end for prices on stuff. But feel free to order and acquire anything you wish.
Okay, so what's the bow? What's the bow? It's like Christmas.
Coffee will lay the bow on the table also. And he looks at all of you and he says, this is an elven bow, and it is an oath bow.
What's an oath bow?
He says that, let me bring it up so you sounds properly cool.
I'm ordering steak and kidney pie for breakfast.
That sounds awesome. He says that for the person who attunes themselves to this bow, when they draw an arrow across it, they will hear a whisper of Elvish in their ear that says, in Elvish, swift defeat to my enemies. And he says, when you then reply in a command phrase, which is in Elven, swift death to you who have wronged me, this bow will hit that target with significant damage. Out of character, because he wouldn't be able to tell you stats as far as what's going on. But what an oath bow does is when you make a ranged attack roll with this weapon against your sworn enemy, which means you've spoken the command phrase to signal that a target of yours is your sworn enemy, you have advantage on attack rolls against that target. In addition, that target gains no benefit from cover other than total cover, and you suffer no disadvantage due to long range. If the attack hits, your sworn enemy takes an extra 3d6 piercing damage. While your sworn enemy lives, you have disadvantage on attack rolls with all other weapons.
Oh, hold on. I'm a little behind.
I'll post the actual stuff.
Good. Okay.
Whoever decides to actually have it. And this ability stays up until that sworn enemy dies, and you cannot choose another sworn enemy until you've had a long rest. If your enemy escapes, there's somewhere in here that talks about that. I think it lasts for like 3 days or 4 days or something like that. Oh, 7 days. The target of your attack becomes your sworn enemy until it dies or until the dawn of 7 days later.
Hey, quiet that kid down.
You can have only one such sworn enemy at a time. When your sworn enemy dies, you can choose a new one after the next dawn. So basically after the long rest or after whenever the next sunrise. And that is what an oath bow is.
That is nasty. I'm glad we killed that shaman.
Or was that the bow that was using it?
Yeah, it has no.
Yeah,
Was
that
it
was the bow that came from the leader of the Uthgarts.
Oh, well, I'm glad we killed her. Otherwise, whew, that would have been rough for Finn.
And
I can attest it hurt when it hit you.
and I'm gonna do this, and then we can retcon or whatever. But Coffee will say, "I do believe we would be best served if you were to take this." And he double-handed sort of gifts you the bow, Ian.
I'll accept the bow, but I think the bracers would be better off with someone who's a little bit more mobile than I am. Because I think we saw a good use of them last fight.
What did the bracers do again?
They're the wind wall. Gust of wind. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, the Bracers of Wind, they cast a Gust of Wind spell once per day.
Yeah, so it's just like a wall of wind that's like super tall. No, it's a little bit tall, but like really long. And it takes things like twice their movement to get through the wall. So it's good for like crowd control. But they come from you, as I very quickly realized. So you have to be sort of in the thick of things to make them useful. And I like to not be in the thick of things.
Might
if
be
at all
good for
possible.
Coffee.
Yeah.
Or Finn, since he doesn't have armor anymore.
Yeah.
I wear the armor of God.
How's that working out for you?
Have fun.
I'm sure Coffee.
What's your armor? What's your armor class with the armor of God, my friend?
None of it matters when you get hit by a rock thrown by a giant. I'll tell you that right
Yeah.
now.
So Coffee will take those bracers if Finn doesn't want, obviously.
No, I'd say Coffee or Colonel or Jarrel.
Ooh.
Yeah, that might be interesting on Jarrel, because when he gets in too close, if he's stuck, it'll give him an out.
When he gets in too close.
That's true.
I
No matter
love
what.
the group that gives all the magic items to the characters that aren't here.
Well, I mean, it's better on them. I mean, we could give it to Greybeard, but I assume he wants the people in front of him rather than blowing them away.
Exactly.
They can blow them to him.
Oh, that's right. You could do
reverse
that.
it.
And you can't
You get to
activate
pick
magic
the
item,
you
can
get to pick the direction. They can't run from you.
When you're a screaming madman. I don't think you can take the time to activate a magic weapon.
I don't know. It was if it's a concentration spell, no, I can't use it at all.
No, it's a magic item that allows you to trigger it. So
Okay. So Ardreth, Jarrel, who's getting the wind things?
Jarrel, I think.
All right.
I've got Thunder Wave already, so.
PB, did you have a magic bow already?
No, it was just a regular bow.
Oh, all right.
I had the
Sweet.
bracers. Yeah,
she had
so-
magic arrows at one point.
Yeah. I think I have like
now
one or
she's
two
got
left.
nuclear missiles. So
Yeah.
she'll finally start doing damage. Great.
To my sworn enemies.
Which is so perfect for Ian, I think. I hate
much
you.
Everybody
and now I
walking.
hate you,
Yeah.
and now I hate you.
Like, I'm gonna choose one person to hate per day. Come on, guy.
That's right. Until they're dead, and then you choose a new one.
The best thing is the advantage. It's gonna be great. I can be single target now. Sweet. All right. Cool.
Yeah, you
way
can
awesome.
find the Oathbow stuff in the compendium if you want to copy and paste it onto your character sheet if you want to see the stuff.
Oh, thank God. I was about to say, let's not get into any combat. That's why I write all of this down.
And it does need to be attuned. And if you're switching items from one person to another, it also needs to be attuned.
Yeah.
That's just
I
a day
like
in
it.
their presence, right?
So, am I
A
hearing
short
that
rest.
Jarrel now has the Bracers of Wind and the Ring of Protection +2?
I am under that belief.
Sounds like it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait, I could use that ring of protection +2.
Everybody can use it.
I
The
mean,
most
I mean,
useful item in the group at this point.
Finn has no
I was
armor.
going to say maybe Finn needs that right now.
Do you just have no armor anymore, Finn?
I have a nice holy robe.
You need to get you some armor, brother. You're
No, he's good.
Carrion will provide.
Greybeard says he can fight like me now, and I give him a thump.
That's right. I'll give you a nervous smile. Yeah.
Come on, there's got to be some scale mail laying around at the armory or one of these shops we can
Have
get
we
you.
sold everything in the wagon yet?
No,
Yeah, I
we,
was about to ask.
we still got 2 great axes, a short bow, giant's great sword, the shaman's necklace, a giant's bag, and a bucket with 30 feet of rope.
I do believe we've sold all the armor, though.
Yeah, we did.
I don't think we picked up anything off of the Uthgard.
Nope.
So I mean, we could go on a selling spree and then buy you some stuff.
Well, did they take all my coins, Dan, or did they just want the 1,000 from the armor?
I think the total to resurrect was $5,000. So they kicked in a almost
yeah,
half of what you were
just say
not
I'm broke
able
then.
to kick in.
But you got a new slave.
She's got to wake up first.
Yeah, but I mean, other than using him as armor, it's not going to be useful. He would have gone down.
I have
During our fight.
I have Shield of Faith as a spell that I can cast if we get into a fight.
Let's just give you the ring for now.
When we get into a fight.
Yeah, let's just give you the ring for now. I'm very worried of you. It's a
Let's
ring of
let's
protection
not
+2.
give me the, let's wait until I mean if Jarrel wants to give me the ring, I don't want to pull a ring a magic item off a character.
Right.
I have spells.
Good point.
I have spells that I can
Okay.
defend myself with.
All right.
But
Okay.
your concern is greatly appreciated.
When at some point GB will run off to an armory and pick up some chainmail or a suit of scale or something.
And sell some of the weapons.
Sure. I'll take Ardreth with me.
That sounds good.
Get
We'll
a good
try to-
deal.
We'll
Don't
try
let
to
him talk, Ardreth.
We'll try to sell the 2 great axes, the short bow, the giant's great sword, the shaman's necklace.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you could trade all that in, and then you could get chainmail armor as
All right.
like a straight trade.
All right, cool. Crossing
I like
it
it.
off.
All right. Finn will accept your gift with gratitude.
You must have a strength 13 to use it, or higher.
Yeah, that's good.
All right.
And then Greybeard definitely tucks into 2 orders of bacon, a pork pie, an order of sausage and gravy, a pitcher of mead, and a pitcher of stout for breakfast. Because, boy, this has been a long morning, and he worked up an appetite.
All right. Yeah. Mark off all of that purchased, and then you were good to go. It is still early morning at this point.
Did we do
As
the
you-
gentle repose on the body?
Yep, that happened yesterday. Yep.
Oh, okay.
No, that happened this morning,
Oh, right. Yeah, this morning.
right? First thing this morning.
Yep, first thing this morning.
All right. So we have another week, 2 weeks, week.
A 10-day, I think.
Ah. Okay. So we should be good to go to Citadel Felbar. But we have to make a choice, right? This is a fork in the road. You either go straight north or straight never eat east.
Duration is 10 days. Yeah, at this point, there is a road heading north to Silvery Moon, and from there you will take a road east that will then lead you to the road that goes north to Citadel Felbar. Or you can travel east along the Raven River, and also known as the Raven Road, which brings you to Jalanthar, and from there you could take a ferry boat north on the river up to Citadel Felbar.
Ooh.
What's a boat?
Greybeard, I'll let you answer that one.
The finest way to travel, my fuzzy friend. And he ruffles the top of his head. The wind will be in your mane. You feel speed like never before. Well,
Wait.
depending on the river.
On the river? Not that good.
Oh. Does Nod not like water?
I don't think I like water. What's the fastest way?
That's a very good question.
Hard to say because you never know exactly what shall transpire.
What is theoretically?
It really looks exactly the same. One is more of taking a road and heading north along the Silvery Moon Pass, and one is heading east till you hit the river and then taking the river north. I think in daytime, in how many days of travel, it's probably going to be about the same.
Maybe we should ask. Let's ask which one has the least amount of evil things trying to attack everyone.
And who would you like to ask?
Google.
Google, yeah.
Google says.
Hey Siri.
Siri says.
Let's see. I'm sure, we could ask Drow, right? He would know. The adventurers talk.
Yeah, so you talk with Drow in the inn, and he does say, under normal circumstances, the idea of taking the road the entire way, you're going to pass through several other towns, and then you're going to go through Silvery Moon Pass. It's possible you could run across tribes of orcs, goblins, Uthgard, that kind of thing. Heading east over to Jalanthar, you find similar stuff roaming those areas, although not as much. And then on the river, there's not going to be too much that would attack anything on the river itself. But with all of the attacks that have been happening from the giants, I'm not sure any of these routes are safe any longer. I mean, you've traveled. Normally, if somebody would have asked me, is it safe to travel from here to Tribor, I would have told them, traveling the Evermore Way is fairly safe. But as you can probably attest, that is no longer the case.
Can we take a cart on this ferry? I'm assuming so. But I just have to ask.
He would not know if that. You would have to ask if they would have the ability to take the cart on the boat or not. You're not even sure if they can take the horses.
What?
Oh, poor Nod.
Well, let's go find out.
Yeah. I mean, what's the harm, right? We have to go through mountains either way.
Kind of opening it up a little bit so you guys can kind of get an idea.
Well, let's
At this
head
point.
towards the ferry then.
There. So you guys should have a pretty good idea.
Well, come on, Ian should have some idea of how the northern road of the one road that travels across the forest is.
I mean,
You're
just
a
what
captain,
we
after
usually
all.
see. Yeah, I mean, what we just usually see. Just a bunch of barbarians attacking.
Yeah, mostly what happens along the Raven Road is stuff that would be raiding out of the Nether Mountains.
Occasional orc, some trolls, maybe, if you're
yeah,
unlucky.
Let me go to that. So you would know, probably facing that. These are pretty dark, brooding peaks. Lots of legends about the Netherese magic. Stories that you've heard. There's always, stories of finding hidden caves of loot and treasure and such. But the mountain are absolutely full of tribes of orcs. And even some dragons
Oh, God.
that, have not been seen as of late, but people know that it's a dangerous place and it's a place where you could run into one.
Yeah.
As far as going the northern route through Silvery Moon, Silvery Moon is a very kind of cosmopolitan city in the version of like an elven city. You know that you would pass through a place called Hawk's Nest. You would know a little bit about that.
If it looks like we go north, we have at least one more place to stop or after Silvery Moon versus Jolanthar, which we are pretty much on our own until we get to Felbar.
Yeah. It's usually safer to go those ways then.
Yeah, that's the Hawk's Nest area. Let me open that up.
Is it a friendly city?
It is. This is what you would know of it. It's a fortified settlement that overlooks the Silvery Moon Pass, built to defend the pass against orc hordes and other threats, thus protecting Silvery Moon's eastern flank. It's perched atop a rocky crag and surrounded by high battlements, and it's under the protection of the Order of the Gauntlet. High stone walls enclose a keep and densely packed village that includes 3 small temples. That's probably about as much as most of you would know about it. So it's friendly. It's there to stop marauding orcs, bands of orcs. And in fact, one of the things that even Ian would know is that it hasn't been too long in the past that a great orc horde has come from the east, and they made it as far as Hawk's Nest, crashed against the walls of this fort, and were finally pushed back after wreaking all kinds of havoc to the east of that area, including some of the Dwarven cities that are out to the east were overrun and taken. Citadel Felbar held out, but other citadels had fallen, and it was all from an orc who was able to gather many of the orc tribes, and in fact worked with the Drow elves, and they made an attempt to sweep into. It was called the War of the Silver Marches. They made an attempt to take over the whole Silver March area, which is basically this Nether Mountains, all the way over to Silvery Moon, that kind of area. And then much further east to other places you've heard of, like Newfort and Dead Snows and Limrith's Lair, Azkor, Citadel Adbar, all kinds of other places you would have heard of. Most of these fallen to that orc onslaught before being turned back years ago.
This is a long time in elven years or human years?
I want to say it's within the last 100 years.
So probably a toss-up. Like the better half of the 100 years?
Let me see if I can find the exact.
I vote north.
Yeah, I like north. There's a strong city there. And by city, I mean small settlement.
It'll mean one night of not sleeping on the road. Or 2 nights, I guess.
This is probably as much as you would know of the War of the Silver Marches. The War of the Silver Marches exacted such a heavy toll, including the destruction and occupation of Sundabar. Final victory over the orcs felt hollow. One can't help but notice the corpse-strewn battlefields, ravaged homesteads, and maimed soldiers and citizens that are lasting reminder of the orc savagery. So it ended not that long ago, and the lands to the east still show signs of that war that had happened, even to this day.
So like 50 years?
Yeah.
So you guys would probably only know about it from word of mouth. Well, then I vote north.
Okay.
Anybody else want to vote?
Works for me.
Oh, I'd vote, but whatever. I'm good.
Next time, buddy. Maybe on the way back.
Ah, sounds good.
Where did Greybeard want to go?
On a boat.
Oh.
On the ferry.
Well, you can move quicker as you travel south on the river because that's the way the river flows. So
That's
There you
good
go.
thinking.
Let's do it.
All right. So you are going to travel through many days. You begin to travel north along the road, and basically, as you can see, again, making about that 20 miles a day. So it takes you a couple days to get to Silvery Moon. On the second day, you arrive in Silvery Moon. Are you just going to pass through and just keep right on going?
I think so. I mean, I don't think we have any.
I must stop at the Shire.
Let's stop at the Shire.
Another couple of days will bring you to Hawk's Nest. So I guess I'll just give you locations here. There's a lot of locations here, so let me bring these up. Oh, Silvery Moon.
Oh, Silvery Moon, you wily dog.
Yep, known as the Gem of the North is Silvery Moon. You guys enter a beautiful and tranquil city where trees and gardens live in harmony with buildings, bridges, and sculptures. You can tell this is a place of enlightenment with a great library, breathtaking temples and shrines, respected schools of magic, art, and music. Its beauties awes the visitors and is the subject of many bardic songs and tales.
Including one about a black door.
That is true. That is very true. But you pass through quite quickly. You don't stay to take in the sights, although this is a place that probably Ardreth has been to before as a place of like lots of bards pilgrimage here. Also, coffee. This would be a very significant place probably that coffee has been to before, as there's wizard schools and such here also. But you guys pass on as you were trying to make your way to Citadel Felbar to return Gelron's body. You pass through Hawk's Nest, which we know to be a Citadel bastion in this pass. And you continue on. Just passing through. Throughout your travels throughout the pass, you are a couple of different times. You're scouting allows you to avoid roaming groups of orc tribes that move through the pass here and there. You're able to kind of dodge them as you go through, and it takes another several days to get all the way through Silvery Moon Pass. Every now and then throughout the night, you hear war drums in the distance, and you typically just keep a low profile as you travel across this road. You're not really seeing, once you hit Hawk's Nest is probably about the last time that you see very many merchants at this point. And your traveling is quite solitaire for the next few days. And you find yourself finally getting to the road that heads north to Citadel Felbar, and you spend a couple of days heading north. And you might pass a dwarven caravan here or there that's heading south. You do see every now and then boats on the river that you are riding along. Some of it's, a few miles off, so you wouldn't see anything, but every now and then it comes close enough that you can see things here and there. And again, you hear the drums, you know they're out there, but you don't actually encounter any of them. And you finally make your way to Felbar Citadel.
Hey, is my barbarian lackey awake yet?
Yes, that would have happened easily on probably even in the first half day. He would have awoken, and we can go back and have a scene for that.
Just want to know what his name is. Can't keep calling him lackey.
True. Okay. Well, okay. And where's he riding? Where is he as you were traveling north out of Everlund? Is he in the wagon, or is he with you?
He's on the back and nod with me because he's not going to want to sit in the wagon right away with, Ian.
Okay. Yeah, as he awakes, he's riding on the back of Nod with you, and you can feel that he kind of awakens, and he recognizes you again, and he says, and he can speak common, so he is able to speak common, and he says, I feel I have been through a great trial, and I feel like I am on a new path, and I can tell that the cause of that is you, but I do not know your name. He says as he wakes up to you.
My name is Finn, and you are riding Nod. And you have been brought back to life by Corellin's will.
He says, so the Corellin is the light.
I believe he is.
And he says some things in his own language, and then he, as you say, this is Nod. He realizes he's riding on a white lion at this point. And he says, well, I am called Naki Chi'idina Laha. But in your language, you would know it as, and he kind of quirks his head a little bit, and he says, smiles, and then he says, no, 2 smiles in your language.
Oh, fuck you, Lucian. You're just trying to make me feel bad for killing him.
I'm not doing anything of the sort.
Oh, his name was totally 2 smiles beforehand.
It totally was. And but his name in his language is Naki. This is so hard to say.
Say it again one more time.
Whew. And that's the last time.
Say that 5 times fast.
And Ardreth is dead. All right, thanks for joining.
Laha.
If anybody wants to know, I chose a Navajo name, which I thought was kind of cool.
Nice.
And if I butcher that, for any of our Navajo watchers, I apologize. Your language is not easy to speak with no practice.
There was a reason we used them as wind talkers in World War II.
But it is cool. I ended up watching 4 hours of how to speak Navajo while prepping for this guy.
Sweet. Total kudos.
Well, I will take him under my wing and teach him the ways of Corellan.
Yeah, and I think what we could do is we could maybe have a cool, maybe a write-up flashback at some point of what that's like along this journey. You know, and there can be some conversations between you and Naki that I think we could post, or we could even maybe we could do as another role play session at some point. That's just that.
Can we stick with 2 smiles? Because that's going to be a lot easier than that Navajo name.
Well, you can come up with a nickname all you want.
Wingnut.
Here,
I mean,
I'll actually type in the
Noki.
name too, so you have it.
I mean, his first name's easy. It's just Noki.
I like Noki better.
Do you have the key? Noki.
Oh, I don't know how to put the... Oh, maybe I just do this? Yeah, that'll work. Oh, I don't know how to put the umlaut thing above the O, but this is what the name would be.
Oh, it's Ace. Naki. Okay.
I'll send you the video of how to pronounce all that stuff too, because I know PV will want that. All right. So we'll do flashbacks that talk about, because there's actually, you guys aren't going to get into any battles here where it will matter, but that's also going to come up because he's going to have an actual character sheet, and he's going to be an actual kind of person who is following Finn. The basics around what's happening is he wishes to learn more about the light, so he is basically at the beginning of converting to following Corellan, his Finn's god, and he is going to learn and train from Finn on how to do that, how to be that, how not to be the Uthgard barbarian at this point, and to be more what Finn is, or to be able to make a choice to become what Finn is. And Finn has taken on kind of that responsibility of teaching that. But we'll have lots of opportunity for all that to come out in actual roleplay. We won't have to just gloss over it. And he'll be a real character that Finn will maneuver. I will be the RP part of that character, but Finn will move him in combat to keep everything moving quickly. You know, because he doesn't have Nod already and somebody else. He's building an army of his own at some point.
That's what paladins are supposed to do.
Yeah, so now we have
God wills it. God wills it.
Yeah, now we even have hanger-ons, and it's going to be great.
Heck yeah.
This is like a true D&D campaign now. We've got hirelings.
Carry this torch.
But I want to get us to Citadel Felbar as our final act for the evening. So we're going to say lots of things happen along this road. None of it anything that you couldn't avoid. As far as combat-wise, you were able to skirt past, hide, go around, anything that was there. And you did see stuff. There were tribes of orcs that you avoided. There were goblin tribes here or there that maybe you avoided. Maybe even were able to dodge a giant patrol at some point. You were able to see it before they were able to find you guys. And you've made your best speed possible to get to Citadel Felbar to finally deliver the dwarf Gelron. And where is my... Don't need that. Don't need that. Nope, we're not in Everlund anymore. Don't need that. We need Citadel Felbar. So you guys approach Citadel Felbar, and it is a formidable dwarven fortress city that lies beneath the Rauven Mountains. This is a place that you probably have heard of, Greybeard, although probably have never visited. You guys are traversing an elevated road that is 100 feet high cliffs on both sides and pass through two enormous gates. And you happen to know these. These are famous things that Greybeard would know of. And these gates are called the Hammer and the Anvil. You see two wide parapets with crenellated battlements that are also known as North Vigil and South Vigil stand outside these gates and on the nearby mountainsides. And you can see ballista that are set up on these walls, catapults, arrow slits. This place is like brimming with defensive and offensive fortification and siege engine style stuff. The road ends at the Rune Gate, which is the main entrance to the underground city. So this is a city that is deep beneath the mountains, but you have to approach it through the Hammer and the Anvil gates. And deep beneath these mountains are also the tunnels that connect to the Felbar mines, which is why the city is here, and connects to the Underdark and the distant dwarven bastions of... There are ways to get to Mithril Hall and Citadel Adbar from here, underground. One thing that Greybeard probably mentions as you guys are riding, for those of you riding in the wagon, and he, for maybe once, is the one kind of spewing history at this point. Or maybe even Ardreth. Well, let's do a roll. Let's see who knows this. Let's have Ardreth and Greybeard make a history check. See who rolls highest will know this. Oh, Ardreth might. That's a good roll. Oh, yeah. So we'll say Greybeard's the one that knows. Greybeard gets it. You know that Citadel Felbar has fallen to the orcs twice in its long history, but it's been reclaimed and rebuilt each time by the dwarves. Recently, the last time, the Felbar Great Hero King Emerus Warcrown restored Felbar to its former glory during the War of the Silver Marches, but he died after that war while reclaiming the lost city of Gauntlgrim. And you know that currently, now that Emerus has died, that the leadership of the Felbar dwarves has fallen to King Morin and Queen Tithmel, which are the two people you are going to see and to deliver Gelron to, which are the two monarchs that rule Felbar Citadel. So you guys are able to pass through these massive gates, and these are an impressive sight. This is, for those of you that have never been here, this is one of those like checking off the bucket list kind of, you are entering a great dwarven stronghold citadel. This is the architecture and the thinking about what went in to build this dwarven city, just even this front entrance part, let alone the tunnels that are leading down to the actual city itself, are an impressive feat of architecture. And you are fully ensconced in the dwarven culture at this point. Dwarves everywhere, mostly dwarves. And you guys get a lot of looks, especially Jarrel. You see a lot of animosity, a lot of hatred in the eye looks to Jarrel riding in the wagon. And you can tell that this place is not a place where Drow are welcome at all. And they're not really fond of elves that much, which most of you are. But at the gates, you are stopped by dwarven guards, and they ask, I assume that still your marching order has always been Finn on the lion up front. So I assume that still is true.
Yep.
Yeah, so they stop you, Finn, and they, you see several of the dwarven guard are kind of blocking the gates as you go in, and how elven are your features? Are you more human than elven, or are you more elven than human in your features?
He's half elven. I would assume he's probably got a beard, so he's not exactly elven.
Yeah, so I would think they look at you and are treating you more as a human at this point. And he looks at you, and they recognize your symbol upon your shield, and a gruff dwarf kind of looks to you and says, "What brings you here, Paladin?"
We bring grave tidings to King Moran and Queen Thimithel, and beg audience with them.
And they kind of latch onto their weapons, and well, not just anyone can see the king and the queen. State your business.
2 weeks passed in the city of Tribor. Fire giants attacked, and we defended those innocent villagers. And during the defense, one of yours happened to fall to a giant's blow by my side. We have taken it upon ourselves to bring his body back to his homeland.
And as you say, when you mention the part about the fire giants, you see all of the guards kind of spit on the ground, and they have this fierce look in their eyes. And when you mention that you have one of their own, and the kind of the main guard kind of rushes over to where the wagon is to take a look, to see who it is you have brought.
His name was Galron, and we have been told he is dear to your people.
And yeah, you see a very solemn look pass between all of the dwarves that overhear his name, Gelron Foehammer, Master Armorer. And then he calls for the guard, and they form up alongside of you, and you have this like entourage of dwarven guards with rounded metal shields and axes, and they give you like a procession in where you are lined with dwarven guards on each side as they bring you down into the great underground city, the Citadel Felbar. They bring you to kind of a waiting room, and they have you pull off, and they reverently take the body from the cart, and they place it upon like a solid gold litter. That's a thick gold and carved. Go ahead.
As we began the procession, I'll begin the dirge of Doomathan, and just the kind of thing, and just sort of begin like a funeral dirge on our way down.
Yeah. The dwarves actually chime in, and you can see they're taking. It's obvious that this Gelron was a known person of I want to say the word quality, but that's not what I mean.
Renown?
Yeah, of renown to the Citadel Felbar. He's obviously a hero of this place. He's obviously well respected, and you've brought back their sadness that he has fallen, but they're falling over themselves with paying respect. So you have this full honor guard. You have this plinth that they've have, which is the solid gold of carved runes, dwarven runes that he has placed upon. They already have, silks and stuff that drape him, and there are a bunch. It's probably 4 dwarves on each side just to even carry this solid gold. It's almost like a big door that he is placed upon, and they move you further in. They have you leave your horses and leave your cart, and they have you follow, and all of the dwarves join in the dirge song, so it reverberates throughout the tunnels. And as you see more dwarves, they join in, and one of the runners has ran ahead. They bring you to basically what is a throne room, and there you see the king and the queen, who receive you, and they receive Gelron as you walk into this dwarven throne room. At that, as they rise from these thrones, everybody then quiets, as the whole throne room goes quiet, and King Moran steps forward and summons Finn to him.
I will march forward.
Yeah, and in a loud voice, he's bringing you forward, but he's still addressing everybody that's in this throne room, and it's like dwarves from everywhere have come to the throne room to see what is going on. This is a gigantic vaulted ceiling room, ornately adorned with all of the things that kind of make you think of dwarves. Everything is carved out of stone with of the highest workmanship. The thrones are solid gold and platinum, and all kinds of things are set in it. The king and the queen themselves are adorned with multiple riches, and both wear full armor and carry weapons. And the king and the queen make their way, and as Finn comes forward, you're kind of given the motion from the side to kneel before the king. And then he addresses all of you that are in the throne room, and everybody that's there in the throne room, and he says to you, these worthy adventurers have brought back one of Citadel Felbar's great heroes. With sadness, Gelron Foehammer has passed from these realms, and now his spirit wanders, waiting to be reunited with our ancestors in the great mead halls. We will hold a funeral service and ceremony for Gelron on the morrow, where we will ring the great anvils to help guide his spirit to our ancestors so that he does not roam the 9 hells. Everybody who is not on guard or at a specific duty will be required to attend Foehammer's funeral. And he says it gravely. And the queen at that point rests her hand on Finn's shoulder and kind of squeezes it in a thank you and whispers to him, thank you for bringing... And only Finn hears this as she says it. Thank you for bringing Gelron back to us. Please, take your ease. We will meet later tonight. But let us now pay honor to Gelron. And then she and the king go down to where Gelron is, and you see both of them take a place at the one of the sides of the plinth, and they walk it to a temple that leads from the throne room. They walk to a temple where this funeral will take place, and they put him in it's kind of like a viewing area of the temple, and they begin to do the rituals of the Dwarven religion and panthology, and begin to create this ceremony. So on the morrow, they will have this actual ceremony. And in this place, you see he is placed next to several giant anvils. There's 3 giant anvils in this room. And you see 3 ornately crafted hammers that sit next to these anvils, as you guys are shown that. And then once the queen and their guard have walked him into this, you are led off by another guard off to a room where you are able to... They provide you with food, drink, and a place to rest, awaiting for an audience with the king and the queen. And we'll give you guys a chance to do anything you wish at that point.
Sounds good. Is that next week?
Nope, we got a little bit more. I just didn't know if you guys wanted to do anything there as far as you're alone now. You've been brought to a room. You've been provided foods and drinks. It's a place to rest. you're all in the same room, and it's nobody else is there with you. There's guard on the outside, but you don't feel like you're being kept prisoner or anything like that. You feel like you're being treated as honored guests.
Ardreth and I had talked about maybe coming up with a song describing his last day and the fight. So maybe we could be working on that.
Okay.
Sounds good.
I tell everyone it's really sad now, but the feasting and the stories and the mead is really worth it.
It gets better.
It'll pep up after a while.
Yeah, so it's not too much longer, and then you see the king and the queen enter the room. Again, with no guards, they're treating you as honored guests. They are not wearing their ceremonial armor at this point, which I would think probably Ardreth would notice this, and definitely Greybeard would notice this. To come in the room without guard and to come in the room without armored, it would be showing you a great respect, as they would never do something if they didn't trust you, such as this, to have the monarchs of this place, in a room with unknowns. But they're showing you great respect by doing this. And as they enter the room, it's just a big table that everybody's seated at, and they sit up at the front of the table. And the king is kind of quiet and looks somber, and the queen asks for the story of Tribor and how Gelron Fohammer met his demise. And we could say that, you guys recount it. It doesn't have to be an exact 20-minute.
It doesn't sound like a time for a song, so maybe I'll just.
But we do illustrate the hero of the man as he charged with
Absolutely.
regard for those around him, of their safety, of the town and others, and did his best to slay many giants that day.
Yeah, and they listen to the story, and they nod at the points where you talk about his being a hero and trying to save the town, and the queen even mentions that, I know it always weighed heavy on Gelron's mind that he did not pick up the axe and join the wars with his brethren, that he was asked, and more often stayed behind to build the armor and the weapons for those who were going to go off in battle. And he struggled mightily throughout his days, even in letters that he sent home, of throwing it all in and then just taking up his axe and heading out to join his brothers at war. And that he was able to fall in battle would probably be his greatest wish.
That he did.
And as you have told them the story of the fire giants, is it mentioned at any point of the rods and the artifact?
If there's a tactful break in the conversation, perhaps we could.
Who's in the room with us? Is it just us and them?
It's your group, and then the king and the queen.
We think the fire giants attacked Tribor searching for these items, and it was actually suggested, since we were on our way to Citadel Felbar, that we bring these artifacts to you to see if you could shed any light on why the fire giants were so interested in them.
Yeah, so as you place the objects on the table, you can tell that the king obviously recognizes exactly what they are. And he says to you, this is a piece of the Vonendad, which was, let me Did I have that listed? Yeah, there. Basically, the Vonnegut was a great construct that was built by the giants to combat the dragons in the Great Dragon War. It's basically a great engine of destruction. And it's obvious that it must be Zalto who is trying to gather these pieces to reform the Vonnegut again.
Zalto.
He says, and if that is true, and he says, and these are obviously, these rods are created to find these artifacts, as this great engine, when it was destroyed, spewed forth parts miles from the detonation of this great siege engine all across the Silvery Marches. And Zalto, it makes sense that it must be Zalto who has been sending out fire giants then to retrieve these. And then he says, which means, as he looks to the queen, they must be trying to rekindle the forges of iron slag. These are the forges that were used to create this great siege engine. And they happen to be... iron slag is to the northeast of Citadel Felbar by, I guess as a raven flies, 100 miles. But it's, you would have to go around some mountains, through some woods, up to another set of mountains, and then you would find iron slag. And this is where a forge of the fire giants exists, and he believes that's where Duke Zalto resides. And he kind of thinks about that, and he says, then it is obvious that we must sabotage the great forges, for if they are rekindled and relit and Zalto is allowed to make them operational again, he would be able to reforge the great siege engine. And it took the might of the dragons to destroy it the first time. Who knows what it would take if we had to try to destroy it. And he kind of looks at you guys gravely and he says, we will pass this on, but it may be that this would be a time to strike, as if he is sending out his giants all over the Silvery Marches, it could mean that iron slag is poorly defended for now. And if those forges could be sabotaged, and he kind of looks at all of you, then we would reward you greatly.
When he said sabotaged, I cracked all my knuckles.
What goes into sabotaging a forge?
Says that would be up to you once you've seen what they've rebuilt. Usually it's destroying whatever they are using. There are many parts to the forges of iron slag. There are many things that go into, its construction. It's not just, it's not like just one anvil sitting in the middle of a room. It's like it's kind of like a medieval factory. And by destroying or getting rid of Zalto himself would stop iron slag from being able to raise the Vonnegut construct once again. He says if a army were to march on iron slag, then we would be fighting an army of fire giants. A small group might have better luck than even us raising a dwarven army to try to tackle iron slag. But it would be no small task
can we have a day to discuss it amongst ourselves?
Oh, he kind of looks at you and says, you might want to take a few months to prepare yourself if you think you're going to infiltrate Iron Slag and do what you can from the inside. It's obvious they're looking for these artifacts, and it will take them quite a while to begin to gather them. You know, it probably wouldn't even be something that would be done in less than a year. But if left alone, and he's allowed to gather for the next year or so, and then rebuild and rekindle the forges of Iron Slag and reforge that construct, that weapon could do great damage to all of the silver of the coast. And he says, think on it. Don't rush into battle. Don't go unprepared if you do. But if you can bring Her Majesty and me proof that you have shut down the forges, or you've even killed Duke Zalto, for if you kill their leader, the rest will run like rats, then we will build you a dwarven tower of dwarven construction anywhere in the Silvery March.
Greybeard looks at his companions like, heck yeah.
Your offer is generous, Your Majesties.
Not only will they build the tower, it'll be of dwarven construction, but they will supply it with a garrison of Felbar dwarves to man it. And he says, this would be a great reward, but it would be for a great deed if it were done. And I would not partake in this lightly. And he kind of falls silent. And the queen pulls out from her her gown that she's wearing. She has underneath her cloak. She places 2 figurines on the table before you and says, well, enough of things that may or may not happen or things that can or cannot be done. We wish to reward you and thank you for bringing Gelron back to us. We ask that you participate in the funeral on the morrow, and as a reward for traveling as far as you've done and for keeping him the shape of his body as well as you did, I offer you these 2 figurines. And you see on the table 2 ivory figurines that are 2 intricately carved white lion figurines.
What are they?
And she kind of looks at you, and then as she takes the figurines and she speaks a command word, 2 white lions, bigger even than Nod, appear in the room, make a roar, and they are there, these 2 muscly, white, fully maned lions. And when she speaks another command, they pop back into a figurine form.
That's a good trick.
Yeah, and so some of you might recognize these as basically figurines of wondrous power is what they're called. They take the shape of giant white lions.
Are they intelligent, or are they just... what happens to them?
They follow the orders of the person who speaks the command word, so they can attack. If they lose all of their hit points, they go back to the figurine shape. And they can only be... they can only be used once every dawn. I'll have to get the actual... I'm looking for the... I had it in my notes and I don't see it. But they can only be used so many times in a given day before you have to wait till the next sunrise to be able to use them again. But they're a way basically to call a magical beast to help fight for you.
Do we know how many times you can use them?
Yeah, over and over.
Oh, nice.
That is an amazing gift, Your Majesties. We thank you.
And there, I think, we will pause tonight's game. We will come back next Monday, and we will open up with the final funeral of Gelron Foehammer. And then we will find out what our party plans to do, as they have many options before them.
Can those lions talk? Because I don't want any competition.
No, the lions do not talk.
That's good.
So, all right, everybody, thanks for joining. We're going to go ahead and call our stream here for tonight. And we will be back hopefully next Monday. Hopefully we have more of our players, as they, I think, missed out on a great session of RP and story stuff. And we will have to see where our group takes us next in the Storm King's Thunder campaign. Will they take on Duke Zalto head on? Or will they do some other things before attempting such a tall task? I don't know. You'll have to come back and see. Monday nights, 7 p.m. Check us out on Twitch and Mixer. You can check the videos out if you missed anything on YouTube at SirLucien's channel or MC Colonel's channel when he is around. So thanks for joining, and we will catch you in the next one. I'll leave the screen up for a bit. Anything from Greybeard before I sign out?
Yep, I think we're good.
All right, everybody have a wonderful night, and we will see you next Monday.
Bye.